I was standing outside in the Sunday morning sun with a box in my arms, and she was holding the door open, smiling at me. I had the strangest feeling I had forgotten something important. I couldn't think what. She knew where everything went before I'd finished asking. I kept waiting to feel like a stranger in the place, but I never did. I walked through those rooms and I felt like I'd always known them somehow, like the house recognized me. I took that as a good sign. The house was hers, had always been hers, and her family's before that. 3 generations, she told me. She showed me around. Kitchen, bedrooms, the bathroom with the cracked tile she made me promise to fix. The back room with her grandmother's furniture still in it, covered in sheets like sleeping things. I loved all of it because I loved her, and that's how it works in the beginning. Everything she owns becomes beautiful by association. Then the basement. She opened the door, and the smell hit me first. Cold and old and close. She moved through it quickly, narrating nothing, gesturing vaguely at shelves, the water heater, the fuse box. Her voice softer than usual, careful, like she was choosing each word before she let it out. That's when I saw it. A safe, old, heavy, bolted to the floor like it had always been there, and always would be. I looked at it and felt something I couldn't name. Not curiosity exactly. Something quieter than that. Something that already knew it wasn't going to leave me alone. What's that? She was already at the stairs. Oh, that safe? Nothing. Old family stuff. I looked at it a moment longer than she wanted me to. Is there anything in it? She turned and looked at the safe. Not at me, at the safe. Like she was checking on something. Not really, she said. Not really. Come on, she said. You're hungry. I'll cook. Then I followed her up the stairs. And for a while, life went on. The first week was good. Honest. We cooked bad meals and laughed about it. We stayed up too late. I was happy in the particular way you're happy when you've just made a decision you believe in. Everything felt chosen, deliberate, good. But over time, I couldn't stop myself from thinking about that safe. Not obsessively. The way you think about a word you can't remember. It surfaces, drifts away, surfaces again in the dark at 3 a.m., and you lie there, and your mind goes to the one place you told it not to. One rainy Wednesday, I worked up the courage to ask once more, gently, over dinner. Kept my voice casual, like it didn't matter. She put her fork down. It's private, she said. Please. I nodded. I let it go. But the word private sat in the room with us for the rest of the night. It floated around, surfaced, drifted away, came back when she laughed at something on the television, came back when I turned off the light, came back at 3 a.m. when I lay next to her watching her chest rise and fall, and couldn't remember how to stop thinking. As I lay awake, listening to her breathe, I told myself that there are things inside the people we love that we will never be given access to. I thought that was probably fine. I thought that right up until I stopped believing it. Second week. Small things. The kind of thing you dismiss once and file away twice, and can't stop thinking about the third time. She'd go quiet sometimes, mid-conversation, mid-laugh even, like she'd remembered something, like something had pulled her from the inside. She'd come back a second later and smile, and I'd smile back, and we'd continue, and I'd feel the shape of whatever it was without being able to see it. I asked her about her family once, her mother, what the house had been like growing up. She changed the subject so smoothly I almost didn't catch it. Almost. I asked her about the save again at the end of that week. I didn't mean for it to sound like an accusation. It did. Her face did something I hadn't seen before. A tightening. Something behind her eyes that closed like a door. "It's my house," she said. "Some things were here before you. Some things don't belong to you just because you married me. And some things are just better left private." I heard the word before, and I sat with it for a long time after she left the room. We slept on opposite sides of the bed that night, carefully, like there was something fragile between us that neither one of us wanted to be the one to break. By the third week, it wasn't about the safe anymore. It was about everything the safe had come to mean. I didn't say anything to her, but I felt my thoughts wandering. Was this a fair and open marriage? Was I trapped in something I couldn't understand or explain? I tried bringing it up in so many different ways. Nothing worked. She cried once, late on a Wednesday. I held her, and she felt small and real in my arms, and I felt like a bastard for still wanting to know, for not being able to just trust her and let it go the way a better man might have. I told myself that I am not a bad man. That's the truth as best I know it. I just can't leave an unanswered question alone. I'd rather know a terrible thing than carry the not knowing. I've always been like that. I have lost things because of it before, and I knew even then, standing in that kitchen, that I was doing it again, and I could not stop myself. I woke up at 2 a.m. and reached across the bed, and she wasn't there. I lay in the dark and listened. The house was still. She came back a while later, slid in beside me without a word. I rolled over and felt her arm, cold all the way through. "Where were you?" I said. She paused, just long enough to mean something. "Couldn't sleep," she said. I said nothing. She said nothing. The dark between us said everything. The last fight was bad. It started small, the way the bad ones always do, and within minutes we were somewhere else entirely. Somewhere with no furniture and bad light, saying things with the specific precision of people who know exactly where the wounds are. "You've never trusted me," she said. "Not once, not really. How am I supposed to trust someone who won't give me a single straight answer?" Her face went very still. "I have never lied to you." "Then open the safe." "No." "Why not?" "Because." Her voice dropped to something I'd never heard from her before. Tired and old and final. "Because some things are better left unknown." "We're married," my voice cracked on it. "There is no yours anymore. That's what this is. That's what we agreed to when we took our vows." She looked at me for a long time, like she was deciding something, like she'd been deciding it for longer than I could ever know. "You have no idea," she said quietly, "what you're asking for." I looked at her and felt the distance between us like a physical thing, like something you could measure. I thought about the scratch marks around the dial, and I thought about her sitting up alone somewhere in the dark. I thought about all the questions she never answered and all the ones I'd never thought to ask, and I felt the shape of something vast and close and terrible that I had no name for. "Open it," I said, "or I'm leaving." Something moved across her face, gone before I could name it. She was quiet for a long moment, looking at me like she was trying to memorize something. "Okay," she said, "just remember, this time, this is what you wanted." "What do you mean, this time?" She looked away, toward the basement door. "I didn't say this time." But she had. I heard it. We both knew I heard it. She didn't say anything else for what felt like forever, and neither could I. Slowly, she turned and walked to the basement. I followed. The light down there was weak and yellow, dusk bleeding in through the cracks in the boards, thin and gray like something dying. It made everything look like something half-remembered, like a photograph of a place you've never been but feel like you have. She knelt in front of the safe and her hands moved over the dial without hesitation. No searching, no trying. Like a prayer she'd said so many times, the words had stopped meaning anything. It opened. She stood, stepped back, said nothing. Inside was one thing. A tape, old, worn at the edges. My name on it, in handwriting I recognized, the way you recognize your own face in a photograph you don't remember taking. My hands were shaking when I put it in the old player on the shelf. I noticed the player was there, already plugged in, already waiting. The machine groaned, clicked. The static rose and fell like breathing. I stood there in the yellow light waiting for nothing, for old tape hiss, for silence, for anything except what came next. First, the breathing, ragged, close, like whoever it was had been running or crying, or both. Then the words. And it took me a moment, longer than it should have. The way your brain protects you from things it isn't ready for, slows the recognition down, lets you stand there in the last second of not knowing. My own voice. I don't know how many times I've said this. The tape is almost full. She's not the problem. I need you to understand that before this thing hurts her. Every single time it hurts her, and she comes back anyway, and I don't fucking know why. I stopped deserving to know anything a long time ago. Don't do what I did. What we did. Just trust her. That's all. Tell her this is the last time. It won't be, though. It never is. I stood there in the yellow light, with the tape still turning. The static rising around me like water filling a room, and something collapsing slowly in my chest that had no name, and didn't need one. Then I turned around. She was standing in the doorway, looking at me. She looked tired in the way that only comes from carrying something alone for too long. She took a slow breath. "We were happy," she said, "for a little while." The static kept going behind me. and I felt it glowing brighter. I was outside in the Saturday morning sun, with a box in my arms, and she was holding the door open, smiling at me. I had the strangest feeling I had forgotten something important. I couldn't think what.